3/4 of reproductive age women in the United States oppose letting states decide whether abortion is legal, including large majorities of Democrats and independents, according to a survey published Wednesday. At least half of all women aged 18 to 49 said they opposed the state by state approach, regardless of party affiliation, according to the survey from Health Policy Research Group KFF. Opposition was highest among Democratic women at 88%, but the survey showed 53% of Republicans and 73% of women who identified as independents also opposed the idea. More than two-thirds of those who live in states with abortion bans and gestational limits opposed leaving abortion decisions up to the states. 2 years after the Supreme Court overturned the constitutional right to abortion, 14 states have banned abortion and half a dozen others have implemented gestational restrictions from 6 weeks to 13 weeks. Former President Trump has taken credit for ending Roe v. Wade, saying doing so was a popular decision. After refusing to take a position for months, Trump is now betting on the message individual states get to decide their own abortion policies. During a news conference last week, Trump said he thinks abortion is going to be a very small issue this election. Democrats are campaigning on protecting abortion rights, and Vice President Harris, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee, has been the administration's point person on reproductive rights issues. Harris has pledged to fight to restore the protections of Roe v. Wade across all states, even as some progressives push her to go further. Republicans have struggled to find a winning message on abortion policy under Trump. The Republican Party has stopped openly embracing calls for a federal abortion ban, to the dismay of anti-abortion groups. The findings of the KFF survey underscore previous polls that showed most Americans disagree with the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Among the surveyed, 3 in 4 women of reproductive age said they think abortion should be legal in most or all states. 38% said legal in all cases, and 37% said legal in most cases. Only 8% of women said that abortion should be illegal in all cases. You have to be out of your goddamn mind to think. Like, we'll get back to the story in a second, but that 8% of women must be like deranged or just insane. I mean, are you really going to tell me in an era where it's been proven that sometimes having a baby can endanger a woman's life, that you believe it should be illegal in all cases when someone has to have a kid by some guy that forced them into an? I mean, it like, oh my god, it's okay. Let's continue. Brittany Frederickson, an associate director for women's health policy at KF, said the survey shows people lived experiences influence their views even across party lines. The survey found that 1 in 7 women of reproductive age report having an abortion at some point in their life. The numbers were similar shares across women who identified as Republican, 12%, Democratic to 14%, and Independent, 15%. I think it's a relatively common healthcare service, and I think people want it to be available if they need it or want it. Frederickson said, I think it's become one party versus another, and in reality, it doesn't matter your party ID. You may need an abortion at some point in your lifetime. Nearly 1 in 10 women of reproductive age say they personally know someone who has had difficulty getting an abortion since Roe v. Wade was overturned, including 11% of Hispanic women and 13% of women living in states with abortion bans. This goes on a little bit longer, but it's not too surprising. I mean, we've known before Roe v. Wade was a popular Supreme Court decision. It shouldn't be shocking to anyone that when you take away people's rights to do something, even if they're not doing it themselves, they're still going to be like, what the hell? And you got to remember, a lot of these politicians are so old that they do remember the pre-Roe days. Like Trump was, born in like the mid 40s. So when Roe v. Wade took effect back in what was that, 73? He was what? Certainly 18, 20 something. I mean, clearly old enough to, again, have like a vivid memory of just how the U.S. was before it. And that's the same thing with a lot of other politicians. But it's fascinating to watch because there's a part in that poll where they mention how, like, even though most women support Roe v. Wade, being a thing, there's a big portion of them. It's like 38% who are. It's like only that group. So a majority of them are not like in favor of just abortions, no matter what, right? And that's why they clarify in most or all cases. it's 38% or 30 some percent that support it. And that's important because what Republicans have tried to do over the last 2 years in their attempt to make themselves seem like they had any damn common sense for doing what they did was, the Democrats support abortions up to the moment of birth. And then, of course, there's no actual Democratic politician they can name who says they support doing that. It's just them purposefully making their opposition seem even more extreme. Uh, and I'm not even someone who's largely a supporter of the Democrats. I've criticized them. I've said that Biden should have codified Roe v. Wade. Obama should have codified Roe v. Wade. They both had Democratic majorities in the Senate and House at various points. In Obama's case, he had a supermajority. So I'll criticize them for their complicity in this, right? But at this point, we have an election coming up in 3 months. There is one major party candidate who is for attempting to restore Roe v. Wade. I don't know how she's going to do it, because that Supreme Court is going to stay the way it looks for a while, for a few decades at a minimum. And you have a Republican candidate who is so much of a coward that he couldn't even say that he opposes, that he's pro-life to the extent of, I'm glad we should just get rid of abortion rights all across the country, or leave it up to the states. That's his compromise position. So if people really want their right to go and have this procedure done, they're going to have to make sure that the people who want to take away those rights are unable to win. And really, it's so scary to think about how you can have a law that is, just part of public policy for almost 50 years, and it gets overturned. I mean, it literally took the United States longer to overturn slavery than it did to overturn women's rights to have an abortion nationwide. It's surreal to think about, and it's just another example of why these politicians just need to be gotten rid of. Just get them out of office. If they are so ridiculous as to fight a law that has been around for over, but I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, right? Because look at the ACA. That thing was around for over 10 years, and they were still trying to repeal it. So I guess this is just, you can go even further back to Medicare, Medicaid. These people just do this. Anytime there's a new program, there will be some conservative, or even a program that's been around for some decades. There will be some conservative that shows up, tells you it needs to be gotten rid of, it needs to be deleted. No matter who it helps, no matter who it benefits, because we don't need big government. So I'm really saddened by, the fact that there's such a strong support for Roe v. Wade, and it's only among the people who have no power to actually keep it around. These politicians are like, yeah, just get rid of it, whatever. Even the ones that are nominally on the side of people that support it, they didn't do anything to protect it. No attempt to codify. They just assumed that the Supreme Court would always have half liberals, half conservatives, and they got a rude awakening. And through their incompetence, we all had to pay the price.